So this is my Savage BTCSS in 2250. It's a beautiful gun. I love it. It's just excellent gun. And as you have seen in my previous couple of videos, I've been trying to develop a load for it with Sierra Varminter 55 grain, and I actually have two versions of the same bullet. It's probably just the packaging, the same number. It's 1360 soft point Spitzer, not a boat tail. And I finally got the loads I'm looking for, and an interesting thing is that the load that I was chasing was actually published in every book out there. So instead of trying every other possible load, I should have just loaded the one that was published right from the beginning. What got me going is I saw the maximum load. I went back 10% and tried 5 different groups, and you've probably seen in the first video if you watched it. It got me. I loaded 1/10 of a grain less than the maximum load on my last group, and which was the best, and it gave me 3490 something velocity, and it wasn't quite what I was looking for. It was just under half-inch group, which by all accounts is a decent group, but I heard from everybody out there that this bullet is easily capable of 1/4 inch MOA, and that's what I wanted to get to. I know that this gun is capable of that for sure. I've got a 1/4 inch group with a VMAX, and I just know that Sierra can do the same. So after 2 attempts and changing powders, I finally got to what I was looking for, and here's the whole story. When I started this process, I looked at a few different loads that are published in most reliable literature. So this is Hornady, and this is just a range of jacketed 55 grain bullets, and Alliant Reloader 15. And see if you can see that. It's 35.3. So 35.3 grains. Then another very reputable book. It's Lee Reloading Manual. Again, if we look at the 55 grain Reloader 15, here we go, 35.3. Now, one thing that had me kind of stumped is I got Alliant manual and this one. So if we take a look at 55 grain VMAX, specifically VMAX bullet, Reloader 15, 37.5 to the maximum velocity of 3775. That's really quite good. And when I shot 55 grain VMAX, it actually did give me a very good velocity. So I was naturally I was wondering, the group that I shot earlier, and you've seen it on my first attempt to try that bullet. I got a just under half-inch group. It was a very nice even group, and the velocity I got was 3490, and I thought it was quite low. I mean, maybe not quite low, but low enough compared to all the published data. So I phoned Sierra And I said, well, you guys list 35.3. Accurate Shooter website actually lists Sierra load 35.3 with that particular bullet, 3,600 feet per second, and bullet seating depth is 2.35, SAMI specification. And I was quite a bit below that, so I asked them, is there anything I can try? Do you think it's safe to bump it up a little? So they suggested that I try in third grain increments, and I have upped it to 0.4 grain increments, and so I tried my loads. So I loaded 35.3, maximum suggested by everybody, with the same bullet seating 2.35. Then I loaded 35.6, 36, 36.4, and 36.8. And when I shot my first group, you can see this was my cold barrel shot, and I loaded 4 rounds, knowing that there might be a cold barrel, and then 3 landed in this very nice clover, and that's precisely what I was looking for. That I know that bullet is capable of this kind of group, and that's excellent. So 0.3 of a grain opened up hugely. I'm really surprised. It didn't change the point of impact very much, but holy smokes, like inch and a quarter easily. It did not feel like that much more of a recoil or much louder report, but obviously that wasn't a keeper. So 36 was another unacceptable group. And I did let the barrel cool down in between the groups. I snaked the barrel between every single group, so trying to keep it to as standard as possible. So 36.4 showed some promise, 2 bullets in the same hole pretty much, and then 1 flyer with an inch. So, but it did feel quite a bit more recoil and much louder, and it definitely had a cratered primer. I did not record the velocity of that group, unfortunately. My chronographs just stopped, for some reason, stopped working on 36 and 36.4. But, it was clear to me that it's a hot load, and I wouldn't use it as a hunting load. Even if it was good, I don't think I would go that high. So the funny thing is, in my very first attempt, I loaded just a hair under 35.3. My load was 35.2, and it gave me a good group, but not quite as good as that. And I should have listened. I should have listened to the data. Should have loaded it right from the beginning, but I don't know. I got seduced by velocity and just went on a wild goose chase. It's funny. I've been loading for 10 years plus, and once in a while you just get caught in this. But I just like to point out one thing. Over all these tests, what I realized is maybe it's just me, but maybe you guys are out there as well. We always look at the powder, then we'll look at the primers, seating depth, and the one factor that actually Lee manual explains very well is a difference in hardness of a bullet. So when I looked at VMAX, at 55 grain VMAX, it's 0.811 bullet length, I believe, which is longer than Sierra. And Sierra is a little bit shorter, same weight, but the loads, all the published loads, are less, 2 grains less. So it makes me think that VMAX is a much softer bullet, and the Sierra one is harder, and that's the main factor. I might be wrong, please tell me if I am, but this is what I think. I think that it's the hardness of a bullet that determines, in this case, how much powder it can handle, and whether or not it's, that determines the maximum. I think it is. So here's my chicken scratch here, my notes on this particular load. And so the velocity that recorded in my chronograph was 3572. That's much closer to the 3600 published by Sierra. I'm happy with that. The group is excellent. I printed out this little chart. It shows me the bullet drop at various ranges, and I'm gonna go out again and test it out in the field. And I just wanted to show you one thing. After I shot my groups, I was shooting outdoors, and I put a log of birch, some old rotten birch, in hope to catch some maybe a bullet or a jacket, and I did get one. So this is what I found. That's pretty cool. This is pretty much jacket only, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of lead left. I don't think there's any point weighing it, but interesting thing is, so this jacket, you can see it opened up completely way over itself, and it went through a 1/2 inch plywood and stuck in about 1/4 inch of a log. I could see it, and I think had it been a coyote, it would have been a through shot, which is great. Maybe not excellent for fur, but it could have been a fairly small exit size hole. And so if it's a caliber hole on entry and it dumps all its energy, and then you end up with a tiny bit of exit hole. I'm looking forward to trying it. I'm looking forward to going hunting with it. It's yeah, I'll have to make a video if I do get something with it. I'll let you know.